In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down 4 strategies that I use in my own concrete company that I use to grow and get more revenue without spending money on marketing, so you can copy these same strategies too. It just requires a little bit of time and effort, but no actual money investment. The first one is referral partners, and in 2024, I made $712,468 from this strategy, so let's break that down. So I define a referral partner as anyone who is around my dream customer who can refer me work because they don't do my line of work. So for instance, I'm in concrete, and so step 1 of getting referral partners is to make a list of all the different types of companies in your area that can refer you work. So for me and my business, this is who's worked the best for me in the past. I have pool companies, pole barn builders, metal building builders, home remodelers, new home construction, concrete repair specialists like mudjacking, for instance, landscapers, deck builders, HOA management companies, real estate investment. All of those types of people are around my dream customer all the time, but they don't necessarily do what I do, right? So step 1 to actually getting the strategy going is just making a list. So you want to, make a list of all the types of companies that you can work with, but then actually just go to Google and just do some research. If you determine, hey, for instance, a pool company could be a great referral partner for me because they do pools, but then someone needs to do concrete around the pool, for instance, well, I'm going to make a list of all the pool builders in my area. Then go to number 2. Okay, pole barn builders. They might build the pole barn, but they might not do the slab that people want for the floor. Some pole barn builders, they just build the building and the customer just has dirt. But other people want concrete. So then you just go to Google, same thing, Google it, and the list goes on and on. So what you want to do in step 1 is have at least 100 to 200 companies of people who are around your dream customer who you could potentially work with and put them in a list. In step 2, this is where things get just so technical. This is so hard, and this is what stops everyone, is you just have to contact them. I know, crazy, right? It's so scary. And a lot of people, they always way overwhelm themselves with this. They say, oh, Tyler, what's the script? I'm like so nervous, I don't know what to say. It's literally this simple. Let's just say I find a pool company that works with me. For instance, there's one, and I'm not gonna say the exact name so people don't blow them up. I'm just gonna call them Redwater Pools. And I just call them, I say, hey, Redwater Pools, my name is Tyler, and I own a concrete company. I was just curious, do you guys ever sub out concrete work or refer other concrete contractors for people that you build pools for? Shut up. They're gonna say yes or no. Or they might say yes, but I already have someone, for instance. And none of their answers matter. The big thing with this is just volume and getting out in front of people. What I would typically do, so say for instance, with that Redwater Pool company, if I call them and I say, hey, do you guys sub people out? And they say, no, but we refer people. I'd say, great, do you guys actually have someone who you're currently working with? And are you happy with them? And you would be shocked as you go through your list how many people have referral partners or have subs, but they're not happy with them. And just by the fact that you're calling, you are going to have a foot in the door, and you will be shocked how many estimates you'll be able to generate just by doing this. Here are all the methods, by the way, that you should be able to contact them, and don't limit yourself to just one. If you call them, for instance, they don't answer and you leave a voicemail, well, next time, try text. And if they don't answer on text, go to Instagram DM. If they don't answer on Instagram, maybe try them on Facebook. And this doesn't have to be like an everyday thing. Just space it out. It doesn't have to be that complicated. If you try them one week and they don't get back to you, try them a different way, a different week. If they have an office and you're in the area, just show up, have your brand, and just say hi. Like, it seems like we would be potentially great fits to work together. My name's Tyler. Like, do you have a chance to talk? Like, you don't have to overcomplicate this. The biggest thing is to have the list and just to get out in front of people, introduce yourself, and just say that you're interested in potentially working together. That's it. Step 3 is if someone is interested, there's really 2 ways that I found that people want me to work with them. Number 1 is they want more of a referral fee. For a lot of my pool builders, which that's actually the best referral partner source for me currently, is it works really well because they actually don't want to sub me out. So they don't want to go sell my trade and then mark it up and give it to the customer. They actually just say, hey, Tyler, I'd much prefer if I just give you the job and you build a relationship with the customer, you sell them, you charge the price you want, but the only thing I ask in return is if you sell them, then I want a kickback on the back end. So that could be anywhere between, say, for instance, 5 and 10% of the job. So say if I go sell a $30,000 pool deck, which I do all the time for my pool building companies, and a lot of them is 5 to 10%, that's like $1,500 to $3,000 that I'm gonna pay that company, but I mark up my bid by that amount, and plus I'm not having to spend on marketing. So basically you're not having any of the risk of the marketing up front, and your marketing cost is just a referral fee. So that's a cool thing. So that's number one. That's one way that you could work with them and how you could offer benefit for them sending you work. Number two is to give them that as a discount. Say, and you could even mention this, say, hey, people that I work with in a couple ways. Number one is I either give you a referral fee if that's something you're interested in. Number two is if you want to sub me out, I could even just give you an exclusive discount. So I'll mark my price down a little bit for you because you're doing a lot of the legwork with the sales and marketing, and I'll just give you a cheaper price. So that way you have a little bit more margin. And some people, this is a third option, they just say, hey, I just want to give you the job and I actually don't want a referral fee. Just take care of my customer, make them look good. Because what you have to remember is as contractors, right? If it's a pool builder or let's just say a home remodel or whoever, and they refer you work, what they really want is for you to do a good job because that is going to determine based on their reputation. Because if the home remodeler recommends some company and that company doesn't show up or they don't call back, then the customer is going to call the home remodeler back and say, dude, what the heck? You recommended me to talk to Tyler and he sucks, man. Like, what's wrong with you? And so literally just by taking care of these people's customers, they will love you. Step number 4 is the follow up over time. And where a lot of people go wrong with this strategy is they will get really excited and they will do it and then they give up. And the thing is that this strategy works best when replicated over a very long time. So say, for instance, if you want to gain muscle, you go to the gym. You don't want to just go to the gym for one day for 5 hours. It's actually better to go to the gym 1 hour a day for 5 weeks. Or, even better for 5 years. The thing with this strategy is consistency. It's not hitting the ground so hard that you look desperate, that you look like a crazy person. The biggest thing is to consistently follow up. So the best way to do that is to stay organized. And speaking of which, I actually put together a free tool, link in the description. All you have to do is put your email in and I will send you a spreadsheet that I built that we use in our company. So you can basically write all the names down of the people who you want to stay in contact with, keep notes, keep their contact info, and basically just stay organized so you know who to follow up with and when. So if you want that, link in the description. Strategy number 2 to grow your business without spending money on marketing, and what works for me, is Google My Business. And so I actually have my stats for what happened over my last 6 months. Currently, it is the very beginning of March though. And so these are actually the worst 6 months that I'm about to give you, but even being the worst 6 months, check this out. My exact stats over the last 6 months, I got 145 calls for free to my business and 683 website visits, which if my website converts at, say, for instance, 10%, that means I got 68 leads as far as website form fills and 145 calls, all just for my Google business listing. It is so unbelievably powerful. So here's how you do that. Step number 1 is just to build a profile. This video is not going to be about how to do that. If you need to look that up, there's like 1,000 different videos on how to do that. You just build a profile and claim your listing. Step 2, this is when things start getting a little bit more complex, but it's still very easy, is to optimize your business listing. So I have some notes, so I'm just going to read that. One is you want to make sure that your business name, you don't want to do like the crazy thing that like people used to do in the back in the day, where maybe your business name is like Awesome Construction. That's a terrible name. If that's your name, you should change your name. But anyways, what you don't want to say is, for instance, best concrete contractor in Loveland, Colorado, because they're like, oh, then I'm going to rank really well for that keyword. Do not do that. Google has gotten really good at reading scams. Just put your business name exactly as you named it, okay? Business category, make sure that your business category is actually what you say it is. So for instance, they have concrete contractors category, landscape designer, general contractor, and then you could add additional categories. The more info you give Google, the more that they will reward you with rankings. Service area, fill that out. Hours of operation, business description, all of this stuff. Just the big thing, guys, is as you're going through and you're building out these profiles, if Google is giving you a spot to fill something out, then fill it out. Okay? Don't leave anything blank. I see so many businesses and they get lazy with stuff like that. They go in, they spend 30 minutes doing something, when in reality, look at how many leads I got just in the last 6 months for free because I took the time and effort and I did things right. It is well worth the effort to do this, okay? So fill out all your info. Number 3 with Google Business is to upload high quality photos and videos. And just like my previous example of the gym example, you don't want to just upload tons of photos all at once and then never touch it again. What you want to do is weekly is go in there, add new photos. Because what Google sees is if you're going in there, you're uploading new photos, and you're being active on your profile. What does that mean? That you're still in business. And Google wants to send people to places who are active and in business and actively doing the thing that they say that they do. So if you just go through and do a one-time setup and never look at this stuff ever again, well, you're not going to rank as high and you're not going to get as good of results. Step number 4 is, again, Google is in the business almost similar. Think of it as like a referral partner. If I'm a pool builder and I'm going to refer me out, I want me to be good because the pool builder wants to look good. Well, Google is in the business of keeping searchers. They don't want to lose searchers to ChatGPT, for instance, or to Bing or any other search engine. So if Google sends someone somewhere, they want them to have a good experience. Guess how Google does that? Reviews. Okay, so many people sleep on reviews. It's not just to get more leads and to sell more, which it helps with that, but Google will actually rank you higher for getting more reviews, better reviews, and even more importantly, having them be consistent. You don't want to get 30 reviews in a day and then you don't ever get a review ever again. You want to consistently get reviews week after week, day after day, and that is how your rankings will move up. Third strategy that I actively use is networking events. And I cannot believe how many people, they don't do this simply because they're uncomfortable by it or because they think it doesn't work. I was just recently even listening to a podcast by Tommy Mello. Tommy Mello is owner of A1 Garage Doors. It's a $200 million garage door company. Huge. And he was going through this and he was slamming people where he's like, man, it just blows his mind where even companies who are doing 5, 10, 15 million, they get to this certain size and they're like, why do people ever start going to these events? That is one of the biggest things that when they go into a new market, they hammer these events. They go out, they know the community. That's why, by the way, a lot of people who are like, oh, I do word of mouth marketing. They don't actually do word of mouth marketing. That's actually impossible. But what you can do is do certain marketing things that promote getting word of mouth. Networking is one of those things. So think about it. You got Chamber of Commerce meetings. You could do construction and trade association events. You could do home and garden expos, industry conferences. There's local business networking groups like B&I. There's so many. But the biggest thing is think of like a tree, right? To have a nice, healthy tree, it has all of these roots that go into the ground and it goes everywhere and it spreads out and it goes deep. The equivalent of you building your business like a tree is developing a root system through relationships and knowing people and just being a person who's involved in your community, and you will be getting sent work from everywhere. Because, okay, say for instance, in the very first one with referral partners, calling is great, but meeting someone in person, shaking their hand, getting to know them, getting to know their kids, being an active part of their life, you will get literally 10 to 20 times more out of that relationship than just calling someone. Granted, is calling someone great and you could do volume? Yes. But ideally, you would do both. You would meet people in person. You would get involved with the community. That is how you get a nice, healthy base of word of mouth marketing. And it's free. It just takes time. That's it, right? It's pretty cool. Number 4 is social media. And there's a couple different ways to grow on social media. The first one is posting on community channels. And so in my local area, I went through and I just gave some examples so you can kind of know what I mean. So if I go to Facebook, for instance, and I type in my city where I live, let's just say Fort Collins. It's very close to me. A couple places or groups that I'm already subscribed to, I actively get that in my feed. Word of mouth Fort Collins, Northern Colorado Small Business, Windsor, Colorado Community, Greeley, Evans, Colorado Small Business, Northern Colorado Contractors, Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor, Online Sales Group. The list goes on and on. There's hundreds of thousands of people in these groups who are active, who are people in your area. So it's a way to basically filter out on social media. If someone's in one of these groups, then they're probably in your area and you could probably sell your service to them. There's a couple different ways to do this. Number 1 is to just watch. It's so funny. Like a lot of people, when they get on social media at night, they just scroll and watch stupid videos. Imagine how much more powerful it'd be if instead of just doing that and wasting time, that you were actually going through these groups and seeing if someone even just asked you for your service. It was 2 years ago. And I got $180,000 projects like this. There was someone that posted in the community channel in the Word of Mouth Fort Collins, and they said, hi, does anyone know any stamped concrete contractors? And what was crazy is by the time that I saw it, there was already 40 comments. But what I did is not only did I comment on it, but I also shot them a DM, and I didn't just say, hi, I could help, which is what everyone does. Do not do that. The same philosophy with Google Business. If you're going to do something, then do it well. This is how you do it well. When you comment, you give them the full amount of information. I said, hey, my name is Tyler. I'm 50% owner of Cesars Concrete. We've been in business for the last 10 years, and we do great concrete work. I would love to help you. We even do free estimates. If there's anything I could do, let me know. And then I also shot them a DM basically restating all of that. And I also even sent pictures of our work, of all of our stamped concrete jobs. And they responded to me 2 days later, and it was insane because I was not expecting this. I was expecting just a small job. They said, hey, thanks so much for your response and for your full response. They're like, I could tell that you know what you're doing. They said, but could you do, how many square feet was it? I think it was 12,000. It was either 10 or 12,000 square feet of stamped concrete. And I was like, yeah, I could. And lo and behold, basically over time, we won that job. That was just by me watching the group and responding. That's just one way to win work in these groups. Number two is to be helpful, right? No one wants to just help someone who only asks. They just want to ask. They never give. And so when you're in these groups, if you could get known as being someone who's just helpful to people, then you will gain trust and likingness in your community, right? So even if someone just asks a question, hey, does anyone know what to do? My concrete is a little bit damaged. I'm not sure if anyone else has experienced that. Go in and just be educational. You don't always have to sell. Just go in and build that brand. That's one way to get more and more leads just organically. And then number three is you could post in these groups, but you don't want to just post promotional stuff. Here's a couple things that you could do as an example. Number one is you could share wins and cool projects. So say, for instance, if I did a project in Fort Collins in that local city, I could post a picture and be like, hey guys, I actually just did this project in Fort Collins. I just wanted to share because it turned out really cool. Let me know if you guys like it. And again, that's like a way to like share and do something that looks cool, but you're not necessarily saying, hey, hire me. But if someone sees that you can do that stuff, then they can reach out, right? So you got to be very careful. You could also ask for networking. You could say, hey, my name is Tyler. I own this company. This is what I do. And I just wanted to see, is there anyone else in the area who'd like to connect because I'm trying to build my business? You don't have to say, hey, does anyone want to quote? That's too salesy. But you could say, hey, does anyone want to connect? And then if someone wants a quote, then they know that they could reach out to you. It's crazy how much this works. By the way, when I steal other people's employees, I do the same thing. It's pretty funny. I don't say, hey, do you want a job with me? I approach them and I say, hey, I'm actually looking for a concrete finisher. Do you happen to know anyone who's interested in that? Because it looks like I'm asking if their friends are interested, but in the back of their mind, they're like, ooh, I actually don't like my boss. He sucks. I want to work for Tyler. Same philosophy. It's a way to ask someone on a date without actually asking them, okay? And then number three is to give referrals to other contractors. So say, for instance, if one of your customers, when you're out on a job and they say, hey, I need to get my trees trimmed, you can actually go to these groups and be like, hey guys, I'm working on a concrete project for someone in our community and they need a good tree referral company. Is there a good referral for a tree company, or is there any tree companies in here that I can connect with? And because you're out there, again, you're telling people what you're doing and you're being helpful. If you do this stuff over time, you will be shocked how many leads you will get just from these strategies. And then number two is posting on your channel, right? So there's posting in these online communities and these groups where these people already live and interact, and you're just going to become a member. Number two is your own channel, which you're going to have no followers at first. But if you're consistent over time, then you can get a lot of followers. I think where a lot of people go wrong is one, they're not consistent. And then number two is they don't vary up their type of content. So say, for instance, here are all the types of content that you could do. You could post pictures, before and after pictures. You could do lives doing education. Say, for instance, if you're in like a really complicated situation or in a situation that affects your community all the time, you could do a live and be like, hey guys, here we have a homeowner, they have a spalled driveway. This is exactly how we fix the spalled driveway in case this is happening to you. So you could do education. You could post about testimonials. You could say, hey, check out Susan's job that we just did. Check out the review. Like, so thankful to work for such great customers. You could do your processes and why your process might be a little bit different or better than other companies and how you offer better quality, right? You could do storytelling. You could say, hey, my name's Tyler, and the reason why I got into concrete is blah, 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 blah. Whatever your reason is. Mine, for instance, is, hey, I got into concrete because my father-in-law was really good at concrete, and we teamed up and made an awesome team. And now it's how we feed our families. It's actually like we own this cool, small family business. And if you do that and you humanize yourself, then people love buying from humans. They don't love buying from businesses. No one wants to make a business owner super filthy rich, but they love supporting families, and especially local small families, okay? You could do things like community engagement with other businesses, right? Like give shout outs, etc. And then of course you could always do CTA posts. That's just basically where you ask someone if they want a quote to call you. But the key is for a successful social media campaign on your channel is you want to do a variety of these things. You don't want to just say every single time you say, hey, if you want a free estimate, call me. Hey, do you want a free quote? Like, you don't always want to do that because then no one will ever follow your channel. The key is to vary it. So with that being said, those are the 4 strategies that I use in my business to basically get leads for free. I do over $1 million of work on basically just free work that is given to me every single year from these strategies. So I hope you learned some. If you did, subscribe to the channel, like the video, catch you in the next one.